Everyone, welcome back to Fed Up with me, Fed Up Guys, the eternal miserable one. Join me now are 137 from Rochester in the States. How is it going, guys?
Good.
All going good. Could you all please introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about what you do in the band.
You can start, Jason.
My name's Jason. I play the drums.
I'm Andy, rhythm guitar.
Keith, bass vocals. We're missing Donnie. He's on tour right now with one of his other bands. He's in like 3 bands.
Whoa.
He's with Hey Grenade. They're on tour, so he couldn't make it today. But
Ooh,
we're
I like the
4-piece. So it's
I
3
like the
quarters,
name.
1 person.
Yeah, I like the name.
We have them playing, so we're a little bit sweaty.
All good, all good, all good. Keep it DIY and real, man, for sure. So what I wanted to start with, guys, is I noticed who did the cover for "Lie for a Lie," because it looks like one of the street alleyways there, and it's got that real grime gritty feel that matches that nice sludgy, dirty riffs that you have in your music.
Yeah, Donnie does a lot of our graphics and stuff like that. He found something on his phone. I just said, "Hey, Donnie, we need something for the new song." And he dug up about 4 things, and yeah, like you said, it kind of matched the grid of the song. So we went with that. But yeah, Donnie did that.
Yeah. It's. I feel it's like a good kind of visual for essentially what you play. So, I'm curious as well. What inspired the title "Lie for a Lie"? What influenced that?
Well, I don't want to get all political, but
No, it's all right. It's all right. Feel free.
I've been since 2005. We put out the Force Control Culture CD, and that's kind of where I got obsessed with just the media. I mean, putting spins on things and controlling us. So it kind of falls in line with, I guess that's almost 20 years ago. So I'm a little obsessed with that. But mainly the media
Still rings true today.
Yeah, it's more true than ever, actually.
Well, it's interesting you mention that because the Italian band who were on earlier, he was talking about how the Matrix movie is a big influence on his next album, pretty much for the reasons you were saying. And I was saying, I feel like, okay, yeah, it's great digital technology, the internet, we're now talking, from opposite sides of the pond. That's fantastic. But the other side of the net, and especially with social media, I feel, people don't have to agree with me. I'm not using this as like a preach box or anything like that. It's just from things that I've seen. It feels like social conditioning with people, dumbing down and like putting all this obsession with greed, the wrong values, the mass hysteria everywhere. And it's a really weird, I don't consider myself like political or anything, but it feels a bit like you're walking around in some movie like The Matrix or a weird theater play with people being used as puppets, and you're looking and you're thinking, just what is going on here? It's just a feeling I've always had.
Yeah, I mean, it's like here in America, obviously we got on one side you got the Fox News, and you've got CNN on the other side. They can report on the exact same thing, but you can come away with 2 completely different points of view on the same piece of news. So
regurgitated vomit.
So that's kind of what it's all about. Like, everyone puts the spin on things, and they kind of guide you to their conclusions. So that's kind of what it's about.
It's funny, man. I've had bands from all different genres on the show so far, and it seems to be a familiar topic that's coming through in the music. And I think probably since COVID as well, I think that's kind of accentuated it again. So I noticed with that earlier release, you mentioned Force Control Culture. Sorry, I thought that way. It looks like you've got like all the zombies there lined up with the glasses with the TV screens, which I feel is a nice reference to They Live, classic movie where, they see all the words and everything. It was one of the most epic, legendary fight scenes of all time with Keith David and Roddy. Fantastic. So has this always driven your music, kind of like that social commentary just on the world around you?
Maybe 50-50. I mean, I try not to get obsessed that much. Like, as I've been doing it for almost 20 years, but
Yeah,
you try to mix other stuff in there. But we're just about coming up on an election here in America, so it's more prevalent than ever. But so on that cover, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Tony Cole. He's an artist that works for us. And he has the White House. They got the speakers for ears, the TVs for eyes. But Tony did that for us.
That's awesome. I was trying to learn how to pronounce his name because he did the cover for a guy that I had on the show recently in a band called.
I hope I'm saying it right.
Yeah. I often say to people, "You say it," and then I'll hear it, and then I know how to say it.
We've never met in person, but just through email.
Yeah. He's
really cool because I just had ideas in my head. I can't draw to save my life, maybe a stick figure or two, but. So I just told him what I wanted, like, put kind of like the White House in the background, and then, I see blues and red. I mean, just whatever was my brain, he put it out. It's an oil painting. I wanted like a real piece of art, not digital art at that point. Not that I'm against it, but I wanted the human element. I mean, which kind of brings us to AI and all that stuff that we're in today. But it was really important to me to have an actual human created piece of art for that particular scene.
Yeah, Yeah, because I guess it, like I was saying, it matches that grittiness. Just goes with all the nice riffs that you have. I mean, how we could do a whole other show on AI. It's something that comes up a lot with guests too. So I've also was reading that you've got a planned video to go alongside with Live for a Lie. So is that coming out soon? And have you got some interesting visuals for it?
Yeah, we made just that quick Halloween video. I actually just whipped that up like within the hour before we released it, to be honest with you. I just looked for some royalty-free kind of video, and it's like, oh, it's Halloween. There's got to be some old cartoons. But yeah, I mean, the way that I see music anymore is it needs to be almost heard with your eyes. I mean, there's got to be a video,
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's worth putting out. It's worth making a video for.
There's something interesting I read in a press release as well, and I thought, well, here's an interesting term. And it was something it was mentioning about the theme in Live for a Lie, how it like goes back to the earlier album you mentioned, Force Controlled Culture, and it said their music characterized as caveman metal, and I thought, well, there's an interesting term. I listen to a lot of bands that could fall into that category, I guess.
Yeah, we're more about dynamics than flash, I guess you could say. I mean, that's kind of where the whole caveman reference comes from, like this crazy blazing, guitar solos and things like that. That's fine for other bands, but we keep it relatively simple, but we try to have some contrast to our parts, dynamics, and kind of that's where the emphasis is for our stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you all on the spot here. How do you feel your music has changed and evolved since your early releases? Because I know the band's been around a while compared to where you are now.
Probably just that. What I was saying, I think we're more dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, our first song ever, the one that kind of started the path of this band was a song called Sludge. And, that was just kind of straightforward, just jamming some riffs and all that. And as time's gone on, try to make it a little bit more dynamic. So probably that, and production. We go to we always have like our team. Like I talk about Tony for artwork, Doug White at Lockport Studios. He does our CDs and stuff. He knows exactly how we're supposed to sound. So I'd say production wise, it has come a long way since 1996 is when I started the whole thing, and that was back in northern Michigan on like a cassette tape actually. So. You put that in conjunction with what we just put on Halloween, night and day, which makes a huge difference, by the way. It can still be the same vocal, the same guitars and drums, but you don't realize how important production really is. It's almost the fifth member of the band, really. So
yeah, it is, man, for sure. I think now as well it helps. I guess just as you were saying with the visuals with music, just enhance the sound. But what I think is good for bands like yourselves is it's not gone to the point where I feel it's too clean and it's sacrificed and I mean this in a nice way, the sewer riffs, that dirtiness, that griminess. When I listen to this, I obviously can hear the sludgy and the stoner riffs, the vocals as well, Keith, which goes along with it. If it sounded too clean, some bands do that, and then they'll lose that heaviness, that bit of griminess. And I feel with when you mix obviously the sludge and stoner together, but especially with those two genres in mind, it has to have that. It's got to get that heaviness still.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Gotta be a little sloppy, but still tight.
Yeah.
Sloppy.
Yeah, that's right. Something you can really get your teeth into, where it tastes nice, but it's not. It's still got its. Where was I going with this analogy? It's just evaporated, as I was saying it. We'll forget that. I was going to butcher it, which I think I just did. So, do you question for you all here? Starting with you, Keith. How do you keep your vocals in check? Since you've been playing this kind of music for a long time as well, to keep doing that nice raw guttural sound, or you just come out?
It's got to be practice. Like today is our first time practicing in like almost 2 months and stuff like that. And I can feel, I did it, but you can feel, so without practice and without stamina, for me, it's all about just doing it on a regular basis. It's like a muscle, so got to keep worked out.
Is it same for you two as well?
Yeah, playing a set is like running a 5K.
Yeah,
I'm sweating and out of breath at the end, so I try to at least go for some walks during the week and get some cardio in.
Try to keep it up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Anything that can enhance the cardio, so you don't run out of gas there. Excuse me. About to get a coughing attack, which is so awesome. Do you have any planned merchandise to support Live for Alive? Just wondering if you have any shirts, hoodies, anything coming along.
Yeah, not specifically for Live for Alive, but we just we put out new shirts so we did a mini tour this summer. Got a bunch of stuff put together. Like I said, Donnie does a bunch of graphic stuff, so we've changed things up a little bit. We got that flask now, it's like a drinking flask. We got some T-shirts, all the regular stuff, but nothing specific for the song now.
Yeah, I was just wondering there. I was looking on your site and I saw some. I don't know. Are these shows that you played back in the summer that you mentioned, or are these next year? It's got some dates that you did in July and August.
Yeah, that's all probably last year. We don't have anything booked for next summer.
Right. Yeah, I noticed on those shows, and people think, oh, is this where I got the name for the channel from? And actually it isn't. But you played a show with Self-Inflicted, then Fed Up. Is that the New York hardcore band Fed Up?
Oh gosh, I don't know, to be honest. Yeah. I can't remember yesterday, so I don't remember playing with I don't remember playing with a band called Fed Up.
Yeah, because there's I know there's a well-known New York hardcore band, and people think, oh, is that where you got the name from? No, but I'm about to change your channel name soon anyway. Yeah, I've got to, guys. It's to when I first started the channel, I had the noble intentions of it being open to all music, regardless of my personal taste. So you can imagine the headache that I've pretty much created for myself there. And I thought this needs to get back to some kind of metal, punk, hardcore base, which is where it's going to go. With shows that instead, do you have any upcoming shows actually that you're going to play soon? I know we're about to hit the holidays. Just wonder if you've got one before.
Yeah, the only thing coming up, because we kind of take a break around the holidays and wintertime, but we do have, actually, we were just talking about it practice. There's a record store in Rochester, Record Archive, and me and Andy went there to watch one of our friends' bands a couple months ago, and then the bartender remembered us, and the guy that actually sets the shows up, and they asked us. So that's the only thing we really got coming up. Probably get on that video that you were talking about this winter too. So winter's like project time, I guess. Yeah. And then summertime we do our live stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I was reading as well that the influences for this single are deeply rooted in your love for guitar riff orientated music, drawing inspiration from bands like Sabbath, Corrosion of Conformity, Clutch. So has that always been music that you've all appreciated? Anything that's got good, strong riffs?
I think that's our
Yeah,
common
that's
ground.
That's our common
Yeah.
I like things that Andy doesn't like, and vice versa. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Jason too, but that's our common ground where we're like, yeah, let's do that. So
Yeah. And do you all go through the creative process together with the lyrics and the music, or because some bands they'll have the music first, then the lyrics. Others do it the other way around. Just wondered how you guys do it.
Usually, I'll do like a demo, bring it to the band, and then they kind of add in their flair.
2 cents.
2 cents.
Let's get it in there. Yeah. So what's the most enjoyable thing that you all like about playing the music and then creating the lyrics as well?
I love live. I mean, I always like to play live. That's always kind of been my thing. Sometimes, I don't know, I've changed my mind a little. I used to hate recording. I don't hate it as much anymore. But I just like, well, that's another thing too about writing. You were asking about writing. I mean, we'll do the demo. We'll kind of do things here, like in my living room. And then we kind of put the final touches at the shows. So kind of the song really becomes a song at the shows. And then we go in to record it. So that recording is actually the last part of the process.
And does it, when you're writing your music and playing it, does it differ for each song or theme? What I'm wondering with is, because of a lot of the background to the lyrics, what I was reading about with early releases as well, I was just wondering, does that sometimes make it more challenging because it's pretty kind of deep subjects?
I mean, most of the stuff's angry music, let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I'm always angry about something, man.
Yeah. So lyrics are always secondary for me. The music will come out, I'll hear what it is, and then I'm like, well, if it was speaking English, what would it be saying? And then I try to figure it out from there, So it's like, okay, this song sounds like lies, you know what I mean? Okay, let's do that lie. So, I just kind of listen to music and visualize what I think the music is kind of saying.
Yeah. So it goes very much on the feeling coming from within you, and then that comes out into the instruments and get that anger out as well.
And of course, like what's going on in your personal life kind of trickles into it too. So, Yeah, for sure. There's
so I was wondering with your future music as well, are you going to keep those themes going lyrically with a bit of, as you just said, some things coming in from personal experiences as well?
Probably. The song that we did right before Alive for Alive was This Is a Fist. And that one was more, I don't want to say rock, but more rocky than metal. I guess it leans more towards the rock side. So, I mean, I like to change it up that way because, we've got a sound, obviously, but we don't want every song to sound the same. So, sometimes it's nice to kind of just change the overall feel up. And then if the song feels different, then it's probably going to have different but still angry lyrics, but different.
Yeah. So, like, retain that core essence of your sound. Do you all feel that we've got an oversaturation with music now, that there is so much, and sometimes we can get bands who like, who just kind of sound like the band say that they were influenced by, but not so much with their own identity?
I feel like I'm talking way too much. So I'll give you my quick answer, but I want you guys to talk too. But yeah, I think it's great with the internet as far as, I guess everybody's got a voice. But I mean, for me, like a band isn't a band. If I'm looking at a new band, watching a new band, it's got to be a live video. Anybody can have Pro Tools and a laptop and sound like $1 million these days. It's too easy to sound like a good band anymore.
Yeah.
But most of these guys wouldn't know what to do if you threw them on a stage. So, I tend to go to the live videos versus like studio recordings if I'm going to weigh out the importance or whatever of a band.
That's a really interesting comment. A friend just said to me earlier, just after I'd got done with the first show, and he was saying to me, how come guys, like, I listen to these bands say on their albums or whatever, all sounds great, and then I go and see them live and it's almost like it's a completely different band, and I come away and I'm like, what the hell was that? And I was saying to him, like what you just said, Keith, I said with Pro Tools, everything they've got now, I said they can make the voices even sound even better, even the riffs, drumming, absolutely everything. And I said, but the best way to get a sense of any artist in any genre is to see them live. Then you find out who can really play, who can really sing, you know, who's got a bit of a presence and they'll interact with the audience, not like just stood there like, yeah, we can't wait to get this over. And like, yeah, thanks for coming out, y'all.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I feel really strong. Like if we can't reproduce it live, it shouldn't be on the CD either.
Agreed.
We've got the song in Vein 2 where we could have sampled. It starts out with the heartbeat and the guy, the character in the story is dying. We could have sampled that in there, whatever, but I wanted to be like guitar harmonics for the heart monitor and for the actual heart, the kick drum. So, you know, so at least we're playing these things versus a sample, and you know that just further complicates the show too anyways. But yeah, I feel really strongly if we can't do it live, it shouldn't probably be on the CD either, or well, whatever CD, whatever they call these days, the streaming.
No, that's for sure. It's right. The nerd in me, just curious as well. I see a pinball machine on your left there. That's pretty rad stuff.
Yeah, I'm an overgrown child, basically. I
got, no, something like that.
You can't see the whole thing, but I've got like a few pinball machines. I'm obsessed with pinball. I love it. Got some slot machines over there, some arcade machines out in the living room. So, yeah.
Dude, that stuff's massive though, because you get a lot of those retro conventions with all the arcade machines, the pinball stuff.
I used to go to those,
Oh man, yeah, they're fantastic. There was a cat we were talking to a few years ago, my co-host from another channel that I helped run, and I think it was at the time, and I know this was in New York, possibly, I think John Wick 2 had either just come out or John Wick 3. It was one of those, and he went to this kind of retro kind of convention that had all the arcades there, all the pinball machines. I think there was people there from John Wick, one of them or something. It sounded absolutely fantastic. I thought, man, that's just awesome. Get to see people there from John Wick, and then you've got all that in front of you. I think I'd be foaming in the mouth, man.
I'm all about the retro. I mean, I don't think you can see the KISS thing behind us, but KISS got me into music in the first place. I was 9 years old. My mom was like, hey, record this movie. And it was that terrible, but still good, that Phantom of the Park movie. And I was 9 years old. I saw that and blew my mind. I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, and they just had their last show last Saturday. But I got a 70 Chevelle out front there, a 72. All my cars are old. So I'm all about the retro. I think I was just born too late.
That stuff's got really popular though, because you've got series set in those eras. I call them retro series. Even in gaming, they're releasing now like new kind of old school games, beat 'em up stuff like that. Have really come back. And the artwork I always find interesting because it's like kind of a throwback where I know they'll use digitized effects to enhance some of it, but it's like that kind of very old school raw, kind of even a graffiti style in some sense as well. It's really, really cool stuff. So just getting back to music for a moment or two, because I'm nerding away. You mentioned one of your players in another band, you know, that's why he isn't here today. So do any of you play in other bands as well?
No, I don't.
There's a quick answer.
Quickest
answer ever there, man.
I met Jason in his band. No years, was that 7 years ago or something like that?
Yeah. No,
so he was a little kid. But that's how we met. So.
And you know, whenever you get those difficulties sometimes with recording and writing, you know, when you get that creative black spot and it's like, man, I just can't seem to, this riff just doesn't quite sound right to me. I don't feel it, or I'm not really digging these words. How do you guys get past that?
We haven't had too much of that. I mean, every now there's. Yeah. I just showed them a song I don't know, a month or two ago, and there was like, no, that's not good. Use it for something. A friend of mine is wanting to do something on the side with me, so everything for 137 for me comes first. I give it to these guys. I'm like, do you guys like this song? If they don't, then I use it for something else.
I not necessarily not like it. I just didn't think it fit.
Right. So yeah, some things just aren't for this band, and these guys let me know that. So
if something doesn't fit, do you keep it aside to use maybe for something in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I've got a son that he's like into rap and stuff like that. Actually, we were just talking before practice. So Jason's doing a song on piano. Andy's doing this acoustic thing with my stepson. I actually like rapped a little bit for my stepson's project.
Nice.
So, I mean, we, mainly metal, but we have our outside things. And if the song doesn't work for this band, then use it for
Well, funny thing, man, I'm a huge underground hip hop guy as well. I mean, like, extreme metal and hardcore is my base. But I love my underground hip hop as well. The channel I co-host, Planet X Films, the guy who runs that channel used to be hip hop MC, worked with Hellraiser and all of those cats, and used to be very active on the battle leagues. And it's amazing how they can just spit all those bars and lyrics just totally off the on the fly at times.
It's insane. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge rap guy, but I gotta give it up. I have total respect for the amount of lyrics that they can put into like 1 minute.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like almost an auctioneer. I mean,
Yeah.
I was supposed to sing in a song. I'm like, this is too many words for me. Again, the caveman thing is like, 5 syllables is about the max for me. You know what I mean? So, I give it up to those guys for being able to do those lyrics the way they do it. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. Especially that grimy style to it as well. That's really good from the streets, where it literally can be on the street corner or something and it just comes up. I always respect that. Just got a coughing attack, sorry guys. So this is all people will be seeing with me on the shows at the moment, is muting out and me like choking to death. Which sucks. I'm gonna have to get a banner with a disclaimer and just put it on there. Warning. Recovering, still coughing like hell. I did like just coming back to one of your early releases. What doesn't kill you only gets you stronger. And you're out in the woods there on that video. So I'm just curious, where was that filmed? And you must have had fun making that one as well.
We actually got COVID filming that one.
Oh, getting opposite fun then.
Andy comes to we filmed it here at my property and whatnot. And Andy's like, I got this really bad headache. This is like when COVID was just starting. You didn't really know what was going on 100% at that point. And next thing you know, most of us, I don't think Jason got, but I think the rest of us all got COVID.
Yeah,
I was safe for some reason.
Yeah, but that's the fun thing about that one. But yeah, that was just on the property, like outside this window I'm sitting next to. That's the woodsy scene. On the other side, that's the driveway where they were walking, as zombies towards the car and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and it had
my daughter to make the she made the video basically. I mean, she did the makeup on us, which was cabbage and clay. Is that what it was?
Whoa.
Yeah,
and other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly cabbage was on our faces. Like when I'm coming out of the ground, in that one scene, which was the hardest scene, I was like, I hate coffee. I know everybody loves it. But that was coffee grounds, and I'm like, so they had to bury my face in, and I had to come up, and I like sucked in some of the ground, like, oh man. But so and she put the video together, the whole thing. She put a ton of work into that. So that's my daughter, Jasmine.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Because
she's actually in the video, and so is Cameron at the scene where we're at the table eating brains or whatever. So
just about to mention that, and you see the blood in the balls. It's got that It's got that retro horror vibe as well.
Yeah,
like
it was supposed to be like an 80s zombie flick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the idea. We wanted a little on the grainy side, on purpose. So.
Yeah, I had that feeling. I'm guessing with hearing now, I mean, thankfully you're okay, but with catching COVID then, so was the song title then, was that
I know,
what it was about?
Yeah.
Damn, there's a story. I'll remember that one for sure. Man,
you could actually watch us get COVID when you watch that video. We're literally getting COVID as you watch that.
Wow, damn, man.
I already had it. I just didn't know it.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, I think that's one of the most interesting answers I've had, actually, aside from when I was talking to Ivan from Blood Red Throne recently, and I said to him, oh, so what do you like to do, when you're not writing and playing music? And he was like, dude, I like to get effed up. I was like, One of the best answers I've ever had. I was like, me expect, some guys are like, oh yeah, I go running, I do this, I go that. He was like, is this no? Like, I was like, well, keeping it real, keeping it raw,
Yeah,
for sure. So with that said, I'll jump on that. When you're not making horror infused videos, what do you guys like to do to relax when you're not playing music? I know you've got the pinball and retro gaming thing as well.
Campfires. I mean, anything outdoorsy. I like
anything outside.
My daughter and I race motocross. So.
Yeah. So getting out there in nature, spending time with family.
camping. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, man. So back to the music. With your next, do you have you started working on a full length to go with the single 137? I mean, Lie for a Lie, not 137.
Funny you should say that because I was just talking to a guy last night. So what the plan is to put all these EPs together into one full length. And that's supposed to be coming out 2024. So I was just talking to like I said, a guy last night, but I don't want to say anything quite yet. But
yeah, don't want to spoil it.
That's the plan.
Nice.
Put them all together. Maybe record one more song for it. But I think as it is right now, if you stick going back to Product the Environment, I think it's 13 songs, and what's more perfect than the number 13? So.
So are you going to do any physical releases, or is this going to be digital?
No, this would be, I think the guy that I'm talking about, they still do the CD thing, but it'll be obviously digital. You have to these days. I mean, there's no choice, I guess, right?
And what do you all? So sorry, have I cut you off there? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying it'll be both physical and digital.
Nice. I know some bands still do a lot of vinyl releases as well, both because they can showcase the artwork. The only problem is so expensive, isn't it?
Yes, I was just gonna say I love it. We've done one vinyl in the past, just a single. It was a split 7-inch, and I mean, I've got. Well, we were talking about Kiss earlier. I've got my collection out there. That's how I skipped over tapes. I didn't like tapes too much to CD, but I love vinyl. But it's so expensive. That's really the only thing holding us back from not doing that. But who knows? I mean, it'd be great. Maybe this thing that we're talking about to put a few of those out. So
I love the artwork that you see on vinyl as well. But everyone says to me it's just so expensive, and they'll often just do a limited run for that reason, which is a shame. But I can see how it's like in demand now as collector's items and art pieces. People put them on the walls as well, like it's just for display. But of course, that's just amped up the cost for everything with it. So here's one for you. It's a loaded question. I'm going to put you all on the spot. Been in music for a while, so now to kind of make profit and sustainability for a band, do you think it's more important than ever to get out there playing live, to get the word out, do as many shows as you can? And the reason I'm asking that is because it seems not everyone always supports the bands now. They won't always buy the music. They'll listen to it streaming, but they won't actually go and buy the actual album.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's hard to sell stuff online because, again, there's so many bands out there, whether or not they can play a show, they're out there selling their stuff and whatnot. And I think for us, what I found the best thing to do is usually we have prices or whatever at the show, but sometimes we'll just be like, pay what you want. And 9 times out of 10, when you say that and do that, they'll give you $20 for a 5 songs. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
cool.
if you kind of leave it on them at the show, I mean, and they know that we need to get paid and all that kind of stuff, and gas money, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's still the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And is there anywhere with touring where you haven't played yet in the States, or certainly other countries that, if I was magically blessed with an unlimited budget and said, right, hey, I can fund this tour, where would be some of the places that you'd like to play and visit?
I want to play in New York City. That would be great.
Yeah, I like to get out of America. I mean, honestly,
me too.
I mean, I've done a lot of the states here and stuff like that. But, when we were doing things like our, YouTube campaign and this campaign, that campaign, it seems like out of all places, Brazil was a big one. It seemed like we got more traction in some places over there, like Brazil. The Wacken Fest in Germany, that would be.
Yeah.
I would love to play that.
Yeah, same here. For sure.
Yeah, Brazil is super passionate about the music.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got Wacken, Hellfest,
Yeah,
in
nice.
France, stupidly big festivals as well. Bloodstock here. Yeah, it would be pretty cool, man. So I think I may have asked you this earlier, so apologies if I did, but I'm going to ask it again because my mind's evaporating. So with the music for, and I've just realised you did answer this. I was going to ask you about the music for forthcoming releases, but you're going to put all the EPs together on one release. So once that's done, is that when you'll think about recording and writing the next music after those?
Yeah.
And
right now the focus is just on. I mean, that's something that I've seen for a long time now. So that's got all my focus on it. I just want to put them all together.
yeah,
Like I said, we've mainly always done Watchman Studios. I've always wanted it to be recorded similarly, consistent, so you can stick them on the same release and they would have like a consistent or cohesive kind of sound. I really kind of almost didn't want to put the product, the environment on there. The person I keep talking about, he's really pushing for that. I mean, I hate the production of that. I'll just come out and say it. But I mean, it's got some of like the classic songs from our set list that we play and stuff like that. So, and then it kind of shows you, it's like, like you were saying earlier, like how has things evolved? So, you'll hear those songs, you'll hear the different production on it. And, so yeah, I'm kind of about the whole compilation thing right now. And then after that, yeah, it's time finally for some new stuff.
And we gotta make videos for stuff that we already have too.
Yeah.
We want to focus on that.
We're getting
And
backlogged on
then
songs.
in the near future, that's the goal.
Yeah, and it's good as well for people who've maybe not heard your music before. They can get that good sense. Everything is there together on one release. So that's pretty tight, man. I'm curious as well. What's the? You mentioned you've had some good support from Brazil. So what's been the response like to the track Live for Alive? People giving you some good feedback?
I mean, so we're just, the way that you found us actually is through the Against PR. So we're just getting things rolling, signed up with those guys. And so far, I've seen a few things, you get these notifications and so far it's all positive. I haven't heard anything bad yet. So I guess that's good, right?
Yeah. Certainly not a bad thing at all.
I mean, and that's the other thing too, is like, I mean, we're kind of all, we're in our, late 40s at this point. It's a new world. Everything is social media and, you got to do content every single day. And that's, kind of a challenge when you've got, a job and family and, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, it's like, let's just hire somebody to do these things because I can't be, on social media every day pushing the band, so. It's tough. It's different, it's a different world than it was, 20, 30 years ago.
It's exhausting, to be honest, guys, as well, because even doing this, anyone who's doing anything in the arts, any kind of music promoting, it's like myself, I'm really struggling with the social media at the moment. It's not that I haven't got it there. I'm in Gmail all the time, scheduling guests, going back and forth. So I'm not complaining there. That's a good thing in that side. But the bad is I'm rarely getting any time to get on there and really do the promotion side of that. So I'm trying to, again, this is coming why I'm taking the show, renaming it again, trying to get a bit of a balance back. So I've got time to do that because, as you rightly said, and you've got work, studying on top of that. Sometimes it's just like, man, this is like a migraine on top of a migraine,
Right.
Yeah, no. And then it's, usually for your time, you at least want some sort of compensation, like, but I mean, like with any kind of streaming play, I mean, like a Spotify or anything like that, I think they'll send out like a check once or twice a year for $10. It's like, you get all these plays, but you get like $10 or something.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess the pay scale outweighs some of the work you put into it. I mean, we got to record it, number one, which, you know, that costs, you know, hundreds of dollars, you know, and then, you know, the time you spend on, you know, online trying to promote it, then you get your $10 check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. But, you know, you got to do it out of love. I mean, that's the only reason I do it, you know,
It has to. Yeah, it has to come from that. It really does. I think the whole where they pay artists definitely needs reevaluating, because, you know, I've heard it from so many bands. It's like hundreds, sometimes thousands of players on Spotify or whatever. And as you said, it's like, yeah, congratulations, there's $5.
Yeah,
Something
right.
like, oh, come on, man. You know, I wouldn't even cover the gas
for that.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I think it's a challenge now for artists as well, because, like you said, it's with other responsibilities, you want to have that balance, and everyone still needs their own time as well. You need that time to relax, because it's like, man, I'm going to be sat there like non-stop. It's almost, well, you pretty much turn into one of the zombies from, you know, from one of those horror films. Be like sat there.
Yeah, I remember it was around when my daughter was born in 2000 and stuff like that. That's when I still had my, you know, eye on the prize, like, oh, you know, I'm going to do this for a living and the whole thing. And we were doing a tour. I was in Milwaukee and I missed my daughter's first steps. And that kind of like was like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that kind of sucked to miss that. And then, like I said, I mean, you know, if we were making lots of money, maybe, you know, missing something like that was like halfway worth it, but not even. I mean, like a tour, you're lucky if you break even. I think we almost broke even this last summer, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's tough. I mean,
yeah, it really is. And like you said, on the sacrificing that family time, it's I've read a lot on this, even with wrestling, for example, outside of music, like WWE, their schedule sees a lot of their wrestlers missing out on that family time, where compared to AEW, and before anyone gets angry in the background from whatever wrestling camp they fall in, I'm not doing a AEW versus WWE thing. I'm literally just making a point. I've heard like AEW, apparently their schedule's a bit better on their wrestlers for spending time with the family. So I think it's trying to find that balance, man, and it's so difficult for sure. You know, because you're investing in promotion to get the name out there, to try and get something back, so then you can fund more studio time, more recordings, get the next albums done, EPs, whatever. With that said, here's another loaded one for you. Some bands, I'm gonna give me different answers on this. Some bands will now just go the EP only route with music, as the same people have shorter attention spans. Others say, no, we still do the full lengths. And then I've had another guest say they'll do an EP, then a full release. I personally feel in metal, the fans are still very passionate and support the longer length albums. I just wondered what your thoughts are on it all.
on full length, is that what
Yeah,
you're
on full length or EPs. Or both.
I mean, that's getting back to this project that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's tough because I grew up through that time period where the full length was what it was all about, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I do wonder these days, because people really, they just want the single, you know. I mean, back in the day, there'd be what, like 12, 13 songs on a record, and then they probably put out maybe 2 singles, 3 singles or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way. You know, then you have all these extra songs. I love the full length, but I just think society doesn't anymore. You know, they don't have the patience, you know, like you said, the attention for it. So that's why generally we've been doing EPs for as long as we have been. That's just my opinion. What do you guys say?
Well, I'm old school, so I like the whole albums, but I think the newer generation, kids like my son, who's 18, I don't think he's into the album thing. I think he likes singles on Apple, or you know.
I like the full length. Just usually the songs on the full length, the ones I liked weren't the ones that were on the radio. So
yeah,
I wish.
Yeah, I don't mind either. And I've noticed that, you know, there's a positive here through a lot of bands I have spoke to, that what they're saying to me, there still is a very large number of passionate fans within the community that are still supporting the full lengths as well. I mean, one guy, I think it was, I've forgotten his name now, so it killed me. Swedish death metal band Heads for the Dead, and he said he'll do like a full length and an EP, then back to full length. But he was saying that do the EPs as kind of their I guess different concept break, where they'll do something different on the EP and then back to the kind of regular feel on the full length. So yeah, interesting answers for sure, guys.
And then you've got the financial aspect of it too. It costs a lot to go full length, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when people aren't really, they're just streaming it through Spotify and this and that, it's tough to justify throwing down that much money to do a full length. So.
It is. And as you said, the other side to that as well, you can always at some point, like you're going to put them all together on the full length as well. So right, okay, here they all are.
Yeah, I mean, I love when a song on a full length, when a song ends, the next song that's coming up. You can hear that last note of that song, and you know the first note of the next song. But kids don't listen to it that way. I know my kids don't. It's like everything's on shuffle, everything's very random anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a generational thing at this point.
Yeah. So who's been I can hear it musically, and I asked you a little bit about this earlier, but who's been, and this is an open question to you all, who's been some of the influences on you, both musically on the instruments you play, and then on your vocals as well, Keith?
I love Lemmy. I mean, that's probably where my vocal comes from. I'm a huge Motorhead fan. Super sad when he died. All my people are dying. Lemmy, for bass, I'd say Peter Steele. I'm a huge Type O Negative is probably my number one band of all time. Love Type O Negative. Obviously, Black Sabbath. Some of the Clutch we talked about earlier. Love those guys. And then, like I said, even going back to Kiss. So for me, that's mine.
And what about you guys?
I would say the same as far as the drums go. Maybe a little. I wish I could say I could play like John Bonham, but he's he's probably a big influence, I'd say.
Love Led Zeppelin, yeah. Andy?
That's a good question. Can't answer.
Yeah.
Andy
I
loves
have
Who doesn't?
I actually do. He doesn't, though. we covered Prince for a short time.
We did.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't even know if we want to talk about all that.
Yeah, go on. Let's share the story. Just put you on the spot.
Yeah, you mentioned it's pretty sad. But.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, this is a sad kind of. What's your intro? You said you're constantly. What do you say at the beginning of your show?
I said, was it Welcome to Fed Up with the Eternal Miserable One? Guys.
Eternal Miserable. Okay, we can tell this stuff right here. All right. So the reason Donnie came about, because he's only been with us like a little over a year now, I think. Not this last August, but the August before that. One of our really good friends and brothers was Mark, used to be in the band, and we were playing the Prince song. That's how this came about. But we did a show in Buffalo, and he literally passed away on stage.
Sorry.
In our fourth song, played that solo amazingly, the Prince solo, and within moments of the end of his life. And then he sat down. Let me back up a little bit. So we did like we played Pennsylvania maybe a week or so before that one, I think. And it was really hot. And, and he broke his guitar strap and, he sat down. This thing happens in Buffalo. I thought the same thing was going on. It was really hot. It was August. He was sitting down, but hit just something on his face or whatever. And then he gets up and just fell back down. And that was that. So, it was really weird. A really small stage, so we were all within 4 feet of the guy. It was really strange experience. But so yeah, I mean, we love Mark, miss Mark. Yeah, he went out the way that he was supposed to. I mean, he was a machine with the guitar. I mean, you could just say a song and he would play it. I mean, he was a human jukebox. You know what I mean? And just shredder, the whole thing. Like I said, within moments of passing away, he didn't even mess up a note on his solo. So he played perfectly up until the very, very end.
Sorry to hear that, guys.
So now how do we go on with the interview after that? Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well
signing off,
done.
bye.
Yeah. It's no,
If we
it's
could all hope to go the same way,
Right. Yeah.
but just a lot later.
Right.
yeah,
Like way too early.
yeah, for sure. So what is it
We just
that
messed you up, didn't we?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of now. How can I follow that? How can I put it up? Yeah. It's been,
Sorry.
Oh no, don't worry about it. Yeah, that has put me on the. So what is it that you all enjoy? Okay, here's one. What do you all enjoy about playing in a band together? Do you feel you've always had that good chemistry? You all seem quite close, and that's obviously a good thing if you're playing in a band together.
Yeah, that's more important than ability, if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather have that click, that gel with somebody than, they can play a million notes or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about the chemistry, if you ask me.
Does that help as well when you've got to do constructive criticism if you're close?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've had people in this band that I, wouldn't say that I was close with, and it gets tough at those moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think things get a little bit more personal, and with like us, it's like, okay, well, maybe you take it a little personal, but then you're like, this guy knows what we're about, what we're after, and so I trust them more than I trust really anybody.
This particular lineup is about as drama free as you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As you can get.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Has to be, or it just implodes, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's been lineups in the past where physical fights have happened. I mean, I got lots of stories, believe me.
So it's like 137 UFC.
Yeah. I mean, literally, there's blood and everything. Yeah, for real. I mean, I guess I got stories, but we are so drama free. It's just like I said, with that song I brought these guys, nope, that was like, okay, fine. And that's it. That's the end of it. It's not like, F you and what the hell and all that kind of stuff,
So I'm going to have to comment on that, Keith, because someone watches back a little bit like, oh, why didn't he ask that? So you mentioned you got some crazy stories there from, I'll say, the past sparring sessions. So appreciate if you don't want to get totally into it here, but if you can, what would be one of the craziest experiences you've had with 137?
You want one of those, huh?
Right. Trying to be subtle there.
I'll give you one. So my sister played in the band years ago, right? For a lot of years, actually, Denise. And it was a great lineup. It was me, Denise, Drew, and Carlos. Carlos was from North Carolina. Started dating my sister, so you can imagine that was strange to be dating and in the band together. And that, of course, created lots of problems. And I hope this is okay to put this out here, but we were playing at New Jersey someplace, and they were going through a really bad time. I just remember, so me and Drew, so we played the show. It was a rough show. We played fine, but they were fighting. After the show, after our set, they go outside, and me and Drew are at the bar, and suddenly my sister walks in looking like Henry Rollins from that Liar video. Like, just her whole face was red with blood and stuff like that. Wow. And this is my sister. So, that's all I needed to see. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I went outside, and because they literally got into it, and I didn't ask questions, and me and him got into it, and I beat the crap out of him. So, at first the bar, people were like, oh, don't. Then they looked at my sister and they're like, oh yeah, go ahead, get a couple extra shots in there. And then, we all rode down in the same car. So you can imagine the awkwardness.
Wow. Good atmosphere.
We had the hotel and stuff like that. And I was like, look, he's got to go someplace else. It's just worse. There's more to it, but that's the gist of it. It's just, it was tough having my sister man. I love having my sister man, but as a brother, of course, you got to be protective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff like that happens, and it's like, oof, you know what I mean? So that was a great lineup, but a lot of drama.
Yeah.
So, this is just as good a lineup without the drama.
Yeah, I always think if
no blood and no fighting.
Yeah. I mean, that's just.
That's cool.
Yeah. Apart from the COVID, yeah. I always think, man, if it's something like in a business or music, if it's family members or something really close like that, it can be very awkward and not always the best recipe. I feel, you know, like I say, things, you know. Anyway, it's depressed everyone even further now.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Violence,
yeah.
blood. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah,
we did say caveman, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, caveman. Yeah, there's the name for the EP, I guess. Well, the whole collection. Sorry, when it comes the Caveman Chronicles.
And we love fire, by the way, which is another caveman. We just got flamethrowers this last summer. We used those on our tour and stuff like that. So
nice.
Very Kiss inspired thing too, of course. But
nice.
Those are super cool, but you can only use them outside. But even more cool, man. Material.
It's fantastic, man. That's super cool stuff. Well, guys, my throat is really starting to.
That's cool, man. Thanks.
Get to me actually. I've got another guy due on very shortly as well, so that's going to be another coughing attack spree, which is going to be great. But, thanks. Yeah, I think I need to just drink more whiskey. I'll be fine. That's pretty much my recipe, my remedy for it. Just drink whiskey.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Oh no, you're very welcome. It's been a blast, man. So when I always get to the end of an episode, I always like to give the guests the opportunity not only just to shout out their band, but promote anything they want as well. So if there's anything that you guys would like to promote, shout out, the floor is yours.
137metal.com, I guess.
Just recovered from that. Well, there we go, folks. Definitely go check out the band, 137.com. I want to thank everybody who's either watched live or tunes in later. It's greatly appreciated. Shout out, of course, to 137 for sitting here with me and talking to me. It's been great fun, been very interesting as well. I shall see you all on the next episode, which not very long actually away, but
right.
Be back.
Yeah, crank them out.
Yeah. That's need to get a big bottle of whiskey, I think, and that should get us through it. So I'm about to hit end stream, and as always, folks, there's always that uncomfortable pause moment where I'm looking like, has it stopped? So in 3, 2, 1, here we go. And thanks to 137, of course.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome.